Hey, what's up, y'all? Did you know the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free all of the slaves, only the slaves in the South? Yeah, a lot of us didn't know these facts. So check out the story on how Juneteenth became to be and how the Emancipation Proclamation only freed some of us at the moment. So today, I'm honored to speak to y'all about a powerful moment in history that moved our country in the right direction, Juneteenth. Let's go back to a time when things were far from right. Enslaved African Americans were being denied their basic human rights, and freedom had been left out for far too long. President Lincoln knew he couldn't win the Civil War with the South using slaves as soldiers, and with the Confederate side winning the first battle, President Lincoln didn't sit back. He stepped right into action. So on January 1st, 1863, he used his wartime powers to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, a decision that wasn't just morally right, but also a strategy that left the Confederacy with fewer resources. By declaring enslaved people in the rebel states free, but not the Union states, he hoped they will leave their fields and walk right towards freedom, weakening the South. He also wanted to make sure countries like Britain and France were left with no reason to support the Confederacy. After all, slavery had already been left behind in those nations. And though the proclamation didn't free everyone right away, it marked a shift that couldn't be left out of history. In places like Texas and Florida, where Union soldiers were slow to arrive, slavery was left untouched for a while longer. In Florida, freedom finally came on May 20th, 1865, when the Union General Edward M. McCook arrived in Tallahassee and read the Emancipation Proclamation right from the steps of Knott House. That day is now known in Florida as Emancipation Day, and it was a turning point toward what was right. Now let's shift to June 19th, 1865, when Union General Gordon Granger marched right to Galveston, Texas. He read General Order Number 3, announcing that slavery was no longer a right and must be left behind. Over 250,000 enslaved people were finally told they were free. And just like that, history took a right turn. The news spread left to right, and communities began to celebrate. The very first Juneteenth included prayer, singing, and dressing in flying clothes that had been left in trunks for just the right moment. From that day forward, Juneteenth was passed down through generations, never left out of the stories that mattered most. The fight for freedom didn't stop with Juneteenth. The country still had more steps to take, and in the right direction. On December 18th, 1865, the 13th Amendment officially became law, and this time no one was left out. Now, even those enslaved in Union states were finally declared free, making sure slavery was completely left behind in every part of the nation. And freedom was a guaranteed right for all. Families, churches, and communities held events to honor freedom and the right to equality. Texas was the first state to get it right, passing legislation in 1979. By January 1st, 1980, Juneteenth became an official state holiday, no longer left off of the state calendar. And guess what? You guessed right, other states started to follow, including Florida, which now honors both May 20th and June 19th, showing that freedom was never left to just one date or place. But it wasn't until June 17th, 2021, that President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, which made Juneteenth the 11th federal holiday and the first new one since Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1983, finally giving it the right recognition it had long been left without. Let's not forget Ben Haith, also known as Boston Ben. He didn't want the flag to be left out of Juneteenth history. In 1997, he created the Juneteenth flag. The star in the middle represents Texas, where it all began, and the explosion around it symbolizes a new start, a bright light bursting right into the future. The red curve marks a new horizon, and the red, white, and blue colors say it loud. African Americans were never truly left out of being American, even if the law took too long to get it right. Juneteenth impact didn't stay just in the United States. People in Canada, the UK, and even Mexico, where some African Americans found refuge after escaping slavery. The Black Seminoles hold a festival and a reunion known as El Dia de los Negros on June 19th, a reminder that freedom should never be left behind. And since 2021, the United Nations has moved in the right direction too, declaring August 31st as the International Day for People of African Descent. From the Underground Railroad to the British Emancipation Day, the fight for freedom keeps moving in the right direction, with the reminder that the fight for justice shouldn't be left behind and that everyone has the right to be free. So today, remember what Juneteenth stands for, not just what we've overcome, but what we must never leave behind. The fight for freedom, justice, and doing what's right. I hope y'all enjoyed the story. Happy Juneteenth, everybody, 2025. We gonna learn today.